The Solstice event is out with 4 weapon drops, and we're going to go over all of the god rolls of the weapons for PVE and PVP. Huge thank you to my mod Phil who cooked up these god roll weapons and helped me understand them because I'm still not the best at perks. Remember that just because we say they're god rolls doesn't mean you have to go for them. I know everybody has their own type of god roll perk combinations that works through a playstyle. Before we get to the god rolls, I have information I need to go over first. These weapons are not craftable, but the perks are going to be enhanceable and they can drop with multiple perk choices once you have the Solstice quest completed. Now on to the god rolls. For all the weapons, I will first talk about PvE and then PvP. If you enjoyed the video or find it helpful in any way, please leave a like and subscribe. It would help out tremendously. I appreciate it very much. Our first weapon, Compass Rose, a solar shotgun with the archetype precision frame, which means the weapon's recoil pattern is more predictably vertical. For PvE, this weapon isn't the best just because the archetype is made for PvP, but that still doesn't stop me from wanting a god roll. Speaking of, the god roll is Grave Robber and 1-2 Punch, which is a weapon you can tie into your 1-2 Punch build. Grave Robber will reload the weapon from reserves whenever you get a melee final blow or deal damage with a charged melee. 1-2 Punch, while hitting an enemy with every pallet in the shot, increases your melee attack damage for a short time. This does require you to hit all 12 of your pallet shots into the enemy. However, like I said before, these perks are enhanceable and I highly recommend you to enhance this weapon because it allows you to miss 2 out of the 12 pallet shots to still proc your next melee attack. And as always, I have alternative perks if you didn't want to use 1-2 Punch. Instead, you could use Trench Barrel with Dual Loader. Dual Loader in the 3rd column will reload an additional shot at a time, and Trench Barrel, whenever you land a melee hit, it will give your weapon increased damage, handling, and reload speed for either a short time of 5 seconds or until you have fired 3 shots. So not only are you doing more damage, but you also get a free reload for a shot here and there. The last alternative perk with Dual Loader is Vorpal, which will give you a 15% damage boost against bosses, vehicles, and guardians while their super is active. Now for PvP, this is the best archetype you can have. And for the god roll, you'll want Threat Detector in the 3rd column and Opening Shot in the 4th. Threat Detector increases your reload stability and handling when enemies are within 15 meters of you. It actually can stack up to 2 if there are 2 enemies close by. This means that stack 1 gives you 18 reload, 15 stability, and 25 handling. However, if it stacks up to 2, it will give you 60 reload, 40 stability, and 100 handling. Opening Shot improves your accuracy and range on your first shot. More specifically, after about 3 seconds of not using it, following your first shot will give you 20 extra aim assist and 25 range, but if you enhance it, it will give you +5 on top of each stat. If you're not too fond about Opening Shot, you could also use Snapshot with Threat Detector. Snapshot will give you 20% decrease on your aim down sights animation, making it much faster and smoother. I have 2 more alternatives in the 3rd column, which are Slide Shot and Slick Draw, and I recommend using them with Opening Shot, but if you rather prefer the faster aim down sights, then use Snapshot. Slide Shot will partially reload your weapon magazine by 15% and for a short time boost 20 extra range and stability whenever you are sliding, but keep in mind this applies only for the first shot. And lastly, Slick Draw gives 100 handling but comes with a penalty that decreases aim assist, and when you do enhance it, aim assist will be less affected, but it is still decreased. I don't exactly recommend this perk as much just because your aim assist gets affected so badly, but it is still there if you wanted it. The next weapon we have is the brand new legendary bow called Fortunate Star. This is a void bow that many like to call a legendary Limonarch without the poison, and the archetype of this bow is lightweight frame. Draw quickly and move faster while you have this weapon equipped, and for the reload, use it while drawn to cancel the shot. Alright, so this weapon has quite a few god rolls. The first one I'm going to mention is Enlighten Action or Archer's Tempo in the third column and Archer's Gambit in the fourth. Basically, if you want to aim more for reload speed, then you'll want to go for Enlighten Action, and if you'd rather have faster draw time, then go for Archer's Tempo, because they're both really good in their own way, so you can decide which one works better for you. Enlighten Action in the third column will improve your reload speed and handling, and this can even stack up to 12 times. But because this is a bow, and hits grant multiple stacks of Enlighten Action, which means it does not require 12 shots to get it to max stacks. Now the second perk in the third column I mentioned is Archer's Tempo. That will decrease your draw time by 25% for 3 seconds whenever you get precision shots, and a timer can refresh on additional precision hits. In the fourth column we have Archer's Gambit. Getting hipfire precision hits grants a massive draw speed bonus for a short time. You can even extend it by continuously getting those precision hits to make the time last longer for the buffs, and even though this perk doesn't mention this, it does give you a bonus to reload. The next god roll is Hipfire Grip and Archer's Gambit. If you like Archer's Gambit and firing from the hip, then I would recommend this one. If you do not, then I would go with the first roll that I mentioned. The Hipfire perk would only be used with Archer's Gambit because Hipfire Grip increases your accuracy, stability, and precision hit targeting whenever you fire from the hip, which means not aiming down sights. More specifically, it gives you 15 aim assist, 25 stability, and makes your reticle cone much smaller and results in getting easier hits. And then Archer's Gambit is actually what I just mentioned. Whenever you get hipfire precision hits, it grants a massive draw speed bonus. Another god roll we have is Repulsor Brace and Destabilizing Rounds to make this build very useful for ad clear along with a void build. Repulsor Brace will give you a 45 HP Void Overshield for 8 seconds whenever you defeat a Void debuffed enemy. Destabilizing Rounds, whenever you get final blows on enemies, it will cause it to explode and nearby enemies will become volatile. The next perk combo I have for you is to use Successful Warm-Up with Kill Clip. I would highly recommend getting weapons with the perks that I already mentioned, because this one isn't as good since it's required to get kills. Successful Warm-Up increases your charge and draw time for 6 seconds every kill you get, and the more kills you get, the longer the duration lasts, but it does max out at 20 seconds. Kill Clip reload after getting a kill to give you 25% extra damage for 5 seconds. A super fun fact about bows is that there is a cap on how low your draw time can be, and you cannot go below the cap. So pairing multiple draw time reduction perks will not give you many additional benefits. Now let's talk about PvP. God roll perks are Hipfire Grip and Archer's Gambit. Hipfire Grip requires you to hit shots when you're not aimed down sights, and it will increase your stability by 25, aim assist by 15, and your precision hit. This perk basically makes your accuracy cone so small that it is very hard to miss the enemy. Archer's Gambit requires the same as Hipfire Grip, which is not aiming down your sights, and it will give you a faster draw speed for 4 seconds. The second god roll is for anyone that would like to aim down sights, which is the Archer's Tempo and Golden Tricorn. With this combo, you'll be able to kill the enemy with 1 crit and 1 body shot. Archer's Tempo decreases your draw time whenever you get precision hit and lasts for 3 seconds. Golden Tricorn requires you to get a final blow with this weapon, but when you do, it grants you a 15% damage boost for 7 seconds, and whenever this buff is active, if you get any kind of ability kill with the same damage type as your weapon, it will increase the damage to 50%, and that allows you to 2 body shot enemies. Moving on to the next weapon, we have the Rocket Launcher Crowning Duologue, which is a strand precision frame archetype, meaning that this weapon fires a small auto-tracking missile, and these missiles lock onto the enemy when aimed. Firstly, the PvE god roll is Reconstruction and Bait and Switch or Bipod, which is all used for DPS. Please keep in mind that this rocket launcher archetype is not very good in PvE since better ones exist, but I still have a god roll if you're interested. Alright, so Reconstruction in the third column reloads itself every 4 seconds and can overflow the magazine to double its capacity when you're not using it. Bait and Switch grants you 30% increased damage for 10 seconds when you deal damage with all of your equipped weapons, meaning you'll do damage with your primary, then energy, and then lastly switch to your heavy, and that will will activate the extra damage. The next perk I mentioned in the fourth column is Bipod, which increases the rocket launcher's ammo capacity by 1, the reserve size by 5, and decreases the firing delay by 25%, buffing the rate of fire. However, it does reduce damage by 25%, blast radius by 30, and reload speed by 20. But even though the damage is decreased, the increase in the amount of rockets and the faster rate of fire definitely makes up for it and is simple to use during DPS. Next, for PvP, I have 4 perks that can be used as a combo. The God Roll is Impulse Amplifier with Chain Reaction. Impulse Amplifier gives 35% increase in projectile velocity and 20 extra reload speed. Chain Reaction creates an elemental damage explosion in a 3-meter radius when you get a kill with this weapon, which is really good if enemies are near each other to either get more kills or do extra damage. Now for the alternatives, in the third column I have Demolitionist, which does require you to get a kill, but when you do, you will get extra grenade energy. And lastly, in the fourth column, we have Cluster Bombs. On rocket explosions, it spawns in 8 cluster bombs to continue doing damage to the enemy or nearby enemies. The final weapon that we haven't gone over is the Hand Cannon Something New, a 120 stasis aggressive frame that means high damage, recoil, and is optimized for long distance shooting. In PvE, this archetype isn't the best, so it's better in PvP, but I do have quite some rows for you. The God Roll in PvE is going to be Demolitionist and Frenzy. Demolitionist gives you 10% grenade energy whenever you get a kill with this weapon, really good if you're using a lot of abilities or wanting to spam grenades. Frenzy, after being in combat for 12 seconds, you'll get 15% damage increase, 100 handling, and 100 reload speed for 7 seconds. The reload speed of this weapon isn't good, which is why the perk makes it so much better. If you do not have Frenzy on your weapon or you literally can't get it to drop, you could also use Rapid Hit as an alternative reload perk. Rapid Hit gives you a buff for stability and reload speed whenever you get rapid precision hits. An alternative in the fourth column is Headstone. Works really good with this weapon since it's stasis. Precision Final Blow spawns a stasis crystal near the enemy's location, which you can shoot for an explosion. Plus, if you have Demo as the other perk and the explosion from the stasis crystal kills an enemy, it will count and give you grenade energy. So you could either pair that with Rapid Hit, which gives you the extra reload speed, or Demolitionist for the extra grenade energy. And if you are choosing Demolitionist, just make sure to have some loader mods on your arms. Explosive Payload is another perk in the fourth column that makes bullets create an area of effect explosion on impact that deals more damage. This could either be paired with Demolitionist or Rapid Hits. However, I don't quite recommend this one because it's not as good as the other perks that I already mentioned, but if you really can't get your hands on the other perks, go for Explosive Payload. Lastly, I do have another perk combination, which is Demolitionist and Wellspring. Remember, Demolitionist gives you 10% grenade energy on kills, and Wellspring gives you 8% ability energy when you get kills with the weapon. This energy gets divided between your 2 uncharged abilities. So not only are you getting ability energy from one perk, but also grenade energy from the other. Moving on to PvP, the best role you want to have is Elemental Capacitor and Precision Instrument. Elemental Capacitor will increase stats based on your equipped super, and all the numbers I'm about to give you will get an extra +5 when you enhance it. Solar increases your reload speed by 50, Arc gives 50 extra handling, Void increases stability by 20, Strand, airborne effectiveness is increased by 20, and Stasis gives 20 recoil direction and faster movement when you are aimed down sights. Precision Instruments, dealing damage will increase the precision damage for around 1 second, and you can stack it up to 6. Some other good perks to use are Rapid Hit in the third column, Kill Clip, or Explosive Payload in the fourth column. First, Rapid Hit increases your stability and reload speed when you get rapid precision hits. Next, in the fourth column, we have Kill Clip. It will increase your damage when you reload after getting a kill. In more details, when you have low resilience like 5 and below, you'll need 2 crits to get the kill, and Kill Clip adds a lot of forgiveness because of the damage boost. And for the very last perk today, we have Explosive Payload, which creates an area of effect explosion damage on your bullet's impact. This will flinch the enemy like crazy, and half of your bullet will have no damage fallout. As for the origin traits on these weapons, they are actually quite unique. Every weapon has the same origin trait called Dreamwork, but the secondary origin trait is different from some of the weapons. For the first origin trait, Dreamwork, once per reload, assisted final blows or assists will partially refill the weapon from reserves and increase the reload speed for a short time. Both will receive a faster draw time. Now for the specific origin traits, on the shotgun and hand cannon, you have the Nadir origin trait, which sustained fire increases accuracy and range, also increases launch distance for swords and projectile velocity for launchers. The bow has Vice Stinger. Damaging an enemy with this weapon has a small chance to reload the magazine and increase movement speed while aiming down sights. Bows receive faster draw speed and swords receive faster charge rate while this perk is active. And lastly, the rocket launcher has the Hackett Breach armaments. That gives this weapon increased damage against vehicles and constructs include barricades, turrets, stasis crystals, and other objects created in the field. And that is all the God Roll combinations for Solstice event. I really hope the video helps you decide which weapon rolls you'll want to go for while grinding the event. Huge shout out to my mod Phil again for sitting down and testing out these perk combinations to see which is best. If you have any questions, feel free to ask away. Thank you so much for coming in and watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if it was helpful. I'll either see you in my next live stream on Twitch or in a future video. Bye!